Okay, here we are in Funny Accent, the podcast number 5, I think, or something. And now we are here with Fujiko, that she is from living in Chicago, but originally you are from Japan.
Japan, yes. I'm originally from close to the city near Osaka, Japan.
Oh, the technological center of Japan.
Yes, it's more like central part of Japan.
That's good. How long have you been here in the US?
The US, I've been here like for over 20 years now.
Oh, so we moved almost at the same time, 2005?
Yeah, around there, 2003
Oh, a little bit more. And you moved to LA or to Chicago, straight to Chicago?
to LA, and then I stayed until 2000 like 20.
Oh,
And then after like around the pandemic, and then I moved like 2021 around there to New York, and I stayed there for 1 year, and then I moved to Chicago.
that's good. What do you do for that's good. That's good. And you've been building like a huge follow base, it's amazing. It's really good.
Oh no, like I'm just doing what I can do, to be honest.
Okay. And you started in the Lincoln Lodge?
Yes. So I produced the show monthly basis in Lincoln Lodge called Love Candy RX, and I started it 2 years ago in 2024 in
Okay.
March. So I've had 21 shows produced, and I produce like by myself. So it's really like tough sometimes to keep on going every month. So sometimes I take like a month break, and this time I'm taking like summer break for 2 months. So I'll be back in October for my show to produce, but I have other shows that I attend to perform in this month.
And you do Lab Candy RX has like a special concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically what I kind of like wanted to do ever since I started doing comedy is really to empower people and make people feel positive through laughter and connect people, and then try to kind of like have a space for people to feel safe and then enjoy the entertainment of comedy and then also feel connected. And laughter as a medicine was the concept that I wanted to do for my show. So I put RX in the end, and Laugh Candy is something kind of like catchy and fun that I came up with.
That's good. And that resonated with audiences, like people tweak their material to go to your show, or they can do whatever they want.
So when they come to my show, they are kind of like voluntarily requested to fill out the form. And then the form like has like a questions. It's like normally simple two questions like what's your new year resolution, for example, for January, and then like how like what approach are you like what action are you willing to take in order to like fulfill your new year resolution, something like that. So it's and then like something like or like what's the one thing that made you upset recently, and how did you handle to make you feel better, or something like that. And then like people figure out, and then uh during my set, I pull out that sheet and then try to like use the laughter to make like change the perspective from like negative events or like a tough situation to be more like uplifted, like more positive side. But basically it's all improv for that part. But all comics, I normally have like 6 to 7 comics, including MC, and I headline all my shows. And I have regulars who come to my show every month or every show. So I write my new materials like every month when I have for my show. And then like I do half material and half crowd work based on the questionnaire that audiences filled out.
That's good. And since you started doing this show, you had the feeling that it has improved the mood, that it has created
Mhm.
that space.
Yes. So one thing that I can like, I've done a handful shows like on top of my shows, but like one thing that I can say that my show is different from other shows is that I really feel people are like connected in the end, because I wrap it up to make sure no matter what the material, and sometimes um you don't know because I don't prepare improv part, because you don't know until that day what people figure out, and I don't check that what they figured out behind the scene or anything. I just keep it in the room, so I don't see that question or like what they wrote until I'm on the stage. So sometimes like it can be very funny and sometimes it's okay or that, but I'm pretty used to it, so most of the time I really can find something funny out of what people write. And
Okay.
then like that's the way to connect the audience in the show, because that's something that you wrote and that's
Yeah.
something that you're participating in my set, you know indirectly. You don't have to do any set or anything, but that's some kind of material that you contributed, and I try to find anything funny out of what you wrote.
Yeah.
And I feel like that part too, and then like the way I do my comedy, because I also do roast battle sometimes, which is totally opposite from positive comedy. But for my show concept is positivity and connection and love. So I really want people to feel like, you know, they're there and then they're so loved to be there. Like just connection and feel like acceptance and no judgments, but just, enjoy the moment together type of thing. And then it's just like the energy is very powerful and positive, and it's hard to explain, but like like people can feel it. And it's really hard, like if you I don't really post too many videos and reels from my show, but like people who come to my show like really gave me feedback, like like they felt like amazing afterwards, and it's just like that energy too, like it's kind of hard to see through just watching, but like being there.
Hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
What was that? That we it is this is funny accents. We all come from different countries. We so we got
Right.
last one was with Okoy, he's from Jamaica. I talked with Michael from
Mhm.
Nigeria, Russia with Eugenio Kuzmina. What you're from Japan? What's the
Right.
main thing that you have noticed coming from Japan moving to the US?
So the thing is, American people are more optimistic, not in a bad way. Sometimes it can be a bad way, but like, Japanese people are very serious, detail oriented, very strict to ourselves. But Americans are more like, easygoing. They don't really nitpick, you know, what's wrong and all that thing. They're more like Brad type O or something, like very friendly, accepting. Compared to like Japanese, we are always disciplined and told to do the right thing and then respectful for others and put others before our needs almost. Like you have to please your parents more than what you want to be, and you're supposed to do what people want you to do type of thing.
Hmm.
So I think like a lot of Asian cultures are kind of like that too, similar to it. But we were very like strict, you know, especially on Japanese people,
Yeah.
because our expectations between us is very high. Like you have to be polite, you have to be nice,
You
you have to.
the role that
Yeah.
you need to play is the
Mhm.
way that you show respect to the other. That's it.
Right. And it's very noble. And I really love my culture. And then I really think it's amazing, like how nice they are and how, respectful to each other and how considerate they are. And I've never seen that much sophistication in culture like anywhere. because I was in LA, mingled with so many different people, came from different backgrounds, and Japanese culture in terms of respecting others and care for others and like, take action more for others than themselves is really like next level. But I what I loved was like what I noticed living in LA for many years, interacting with many people from different places, but we are all the same in the bottom line though. We are like our behavior and like tendency can be different or approach can be different depending
Uh-huh.
on each culture, right? Like how we take on things can be different.
Hmm.
And most of them, like like well, Japanese try to be more polite and
Yeah.
respectful than being selfish, because do what you want to do and say what you want to do can be selfish in
Yeah.
Japanese culture. But like in America, people are more like, I want, I need, it's what I want. And it's more like me centered, not in a selfish ways, but more like presenting, like yourself, not
It's like
about
selfish.
presenting group.
Selfish means the bar for selfish move a lot
Mhm.
in the US versus Japan,
In
isn't it?
more like independent, I guess. Like Japan is more like as a group. Like you have to belong to the group, and then you can't really, go up. You have to kind of be with them.
And
But in
how do you do
US,
that with your audiences? Like because you have that mindset and you interact your interaction with your audiences. That was part of the basis of the empowered therapy comedy. You know that the
Mhm. So like the empowering comedy came from me really trying to heal myself from like my cultural background, like try to kind of like love myself and try to accept myself the way I am. And it's not selfish to put yourself first, put your need first, you know because if you can't fill your own cup, you can't fill others. Because when I was younger, I always try to put others first, and I burned out. For example, like even when I was kind of like sick, but if my friend needed help, I was there always to help.
yeah,
And also, like, what profession I wanted to choose was based on what my mother wanted me to. That type of
oh
thing. Like the path and all that. It was always like kind of like relying on or respecting. I don't know which way, but either way, it wasn't just me, even though it's my life type of
yeah,
thing. And it took some time for me to heal, to really find who I am and accept who I am and love unconditionally. Because, we are self critical people, and not just Japanese, but, we all have our own inner voice and try to bring us down, even
yeah,
if, and then like create our own judgments and sometimes like over exaggerates, like, oh, like you're stupid, you're not successful, you're not good enough,
yeah,
that type of thing. We all have that like internal demon,
yeah,
and then try to think like, oh, maybe other people think this way or that, even if it's not true, you know. But it's all kind of like make up your own mind. And then I had a lot of like that growing up, especially like my parents got divorced and I was the only child, and I am the only child. So I didn't really have someone to guide me
okay,
to feel positive when I go down the route of, rabbit hole of like negativity,
yeah,
negative thoughts about myself,
uh
in,
huh,
and how I'm doing, that type of thing. Oh, I'm doing horrible. I'm not doing well enough. I'm not doing like what other people are doing, like, helping others, all that thing. But like it took me really long time, but because I was in LA, I learned a lot about meditation, yoga, kind of like a self in like in tuning. Like you kind of like connect with yourself and find your inner peace and like be your side. It's like I feel like always there's a war between my good part and my negative part within me. You know, my part, it's just like angel and a demon in your head.
Yeah,
Like one side is trying to like tell you how good you are, and then another side is trying to tell you how not good enough you are,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And that was kind of like creating that was the cause about all of the stuff that I was disappointed in my life.
yeah,
Like what I couldn't achieve, career wise, academic wise, anything that I couldn't accomplish, or I thought that I wasn't successful enough or I wasn't doing good enough, just
yeah.
came from that inner, voice.
And
And
you
then
think that disconnection is like what created the comedian?
yes, so that the comedy was the one part that made me connect to my real true self. And I feel like laughter can kind of like conquer the fear and like worry and that like thing like that you're stuck in your thoughts or your
Uh-huh.
things, but when you're laughing you kind of get like that like release and you feel like free from that negativities. Also like changing the perspective and then remind yourself that no matter what you do you're already great, you know? And it's okay to think that you're great. It's not like, because I came from the culture that if you say that you're great, people would tell you, like, wow, like, something's wrong with you, you should put yourself down. That's kind of like the culture that it's more noble if you kind of like tell people that you're just okay, you know? And that's, I
Yeah,
think, like America versus Japan is probably different. Like, how are you doing? And
yeah.
then in America, you have to say, it's supposed to say you're just okay, or like, oh no, I'm horrible. You know, you're expected to say that you're okay, you're good, you're great, no matter what's happening in your life. And in Japan, if you say that you're doing
Oh, fuck. Pero se jodió. Oh, here. Sorry.
we were
Oh my God. It's not, it's freezing. Okay. Can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on. You have a good connection?
all
Hello?
right.
Can you hear
I
me?
don't know what's going on.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
No.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but the image is
Yeah,
kind of freezing.
I think it was frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you can cut that.
Okay, I'm gonna cut that. Let me
Yeah,
ask you a
so that's what
question.
I was saying. Like,
What? Let me ask you a
mhm,
question. What has become
mhm,
after all the comedy, all the purge of all the should be doing this,
mhm.
the Japanese mandate. What has become
Yeah,
funnier after you started
right.
comedy? After all this time, what has become funnier?
Mhm. So, what became funnier?
No,
Can you say that
what
again?
has become funnier? What has become even funny that it was? You
Mhm,
used to be funny, now it's funnier. But something from Japan that you find now this is crazy, or not
mhm,
something from the US that this is crazy. I give you an example. When I first moved here in 2005, the hammers. Remember the hammers, the cars?
Yeah, yeah.
They were everywhere, and there was like, "What are you doing? Are you invading the supermarket? You know, like, what are you doing with a war car in Orange County? You know, it's
Hmm.
you know that kind of thing. What has become funnier for you?
What has become funnier for me? Mm, well, like I think like what's funny is like I don't know like if I'm getting that like question right, but
Yeah, thanks to
to be
comedy.
honest,
Thanks to
yeah,
comedy, what has
yeah.
become funny? You have purged certain demons, certain things that they were bugging
Mhm.
you with comedy.
So what's funny is probably like everyone's going through that. It's not just you, and
Yeah,
it's very like universal, you
yeah,
know. It's
that's
not
good.
just Japanese, it's like everyone. And then in America, it's like a melting pot. There's like we don't really melt, so you know, in Japan we call it like toast salad because we, you know, it's like we are independent group just in the same bowl, but not
Yeah,
really melting. That what I think is everyone's going through that, and then like we can just turn it into laughter, but we just need some other person's opinion, and then you can kind of get out of that head and we can connect. And then what's really great about comedy is that I wanted to help people to feel great no matter what. And laughter is a massive positive energy that you can feel, you know, and then you can feel together with other people in the room, you know, no matter where you came from. And like I wanted to do something to connect people, and I was good at making things funny to make people laugh. And then running the show, I got the opportunity to put people together and then feel connection, and then in the end we're the same, you know what I mean, like
yeah,
no matter where we came from, but like you may have accent, you may look different, and you know it's a great thing that America can put all these people together
yeah,
in the same place, even though you know sometimes you don't mingle with
yeah,
other group of people, but still like when you are in my room, like you are in my room, you know, that moment we spend together, we share the laughter together, we share the problem together, that you know problem you're encountering or any kind of topic that we are sharing. And laughter is also universal language too. And
yeah,
then, you know, we all speak English so we can understand each other. And then we have our different culture and then all that. But still, like, we connect, you
yeah,
know? And then I think that connection is something that I dearly value in comedy. And for people to feel love within themselves,
yeah,
and then like feel love for each other, and it's a very peaceful moment when we have that through laughter, because laughter is kind of like a glue to
yeah.
like you know put us together. So
Okay. What was your weirdest connection with the audience so far? Your
what
w-
was
uh,
the
yeah.
weirdest connection with the audience?
In
So
LA
I
here,
know,
people is getting offended. You know, it's kind of an LA
yeah.
thing. Like
So
in Chicago, what? You know?
so the thing is, I performed in Chicago, New York, LA, and New Orleans, and a few other places. But I never encountered anyone that you know like offended me or anything like that. Sometimes like there are people who are like very drunk and then who start like talking
Uh-huh.
and all that. But to me, like I know like some comics get offended when audiences start like talking to you while you are doing your set, that type of thing. But like but to me, like I'm really performing for them to feel good. Whatever, you know, make them feel good. Like unless like they're really like throwing up or something, then like, you know, they should be taking care of themselves out not watching. But other than that, like I haven't had any weird encounters to be honest. Like nobody was weird or like some like it really takes a lot to offend me. But luckily, like my comedy doesn't really like go edgy materials. My comedy is pretty clean
Hmm.
and more like innocent side. So it's not like something that triggers people to like, you know, stand up and
Yeah.
talking, that type of thing. Although when I perform like roast battle, that's a different type of comedy that you actually have another opponent of comedian and you roast back and forth. When I do that, sometimes like people get very excited, like they almost like fell off the chair,
Yeah.
like laughing.
I saw you. You're really good at that.
Yeah, so it's really tough for me when I signed up for like roast battle. I just moved to Chicago not too long ago and I didn't know the community so well and someone told me to sign up and then I didn't know what it was for. But that was like roast battle and it was a tournament. So I didn't even know my opponent like in person. So I got assigned to roast someone that I don't even know and then like just based on what I watched because I wasn't it was my first time, but he has done so many times, so I was able to watch his previous shows and then learn and then write my material. But what I learned though is that roast battle is also a comedy too.
Yeah.
So it's not to really like offend anyone, but just to make fun, to be funny.
Yeah.
So it's like the other side of comedy. It's just not the regular comedy. So when I really stick with funny, not so much of negativity, but funny, but then you still have to roast. But what I did it was like make sure it's funny and then write something against it. And then just because I'm Japanese, I have a very critical mind in my head.
Uh
No
huh.
one can roast me more than I
Yourself.
can.
Yeah.
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 So when I get roasted, like everyone was just like so sounded nice to me. So I don't really get affected so much no matter what people talk about me because I could be worse
Yeah.
to myself. And me to like other people, like I just wanna make sure like it's more like playful and people can laugh about it. Because sometimes, we are also disciplined too and try to be respectful of each other. So certain things like we don't want to laugh to make fun of people. But I really like focused on something that people can like laugh without worried too much. And then knowing that's a roast battle, so you came up to watch the roast battle,
Yeah.
not the PG
But
13 comedy.
yeah. Yeah. What? How do you feel about like right now? Japan is going through a huge change. There is a woman prime minister. She's going back to traditional values, which is for the West is kind of weird because a woman as a prime minister is kind of a new thing, but she's
Right.
asking to new values. How do you feel about that?
I think like Japan's more like progressing now because it was just kind of like stagnant for many years, like always like men was serving as a prime minister or that thing. But it's like Japan's a very flexible country, and
Yeah.
I'm very proud of them that kind of like learning from other countries and then learning from you know new values like evolvement that we are going through and like even US too. Like when I first moved to the US, like gay marriage was, for example, not even legal. And I think Japan's kind of going toward that kind of thing too, kind of following the steps of America. So I think like it's a great thing that Japan's more like open-minded now and try to evolve along with other countries too. And then also like Japan's very strict on like recycling and like trash to like organize to like
Yeah.
all the thing. Yeah, and then I love that they came to support World Cup for
Yeah.
Japan team, and then they even cleaned after themselves, and then they
That
used
that
like
everybody noticed that, isn't it?
yeah,
That everybody loves
yeah,
that.
So that's like a great culture that they are kind of sharing to others too. And I heard like Argentinian teams or like or fans did the same. Or I forgot
They
because
try to
yeah,
behave, and they try to, they try to be, because in Argentina there's a huge Japanese community, and martial arts are
right.
really important in Argentina,
Mhm.
and it keeps you clean. I practiced martial art for a long time, and after you practice, you clean the place, you clean the
Right,
dojo,
right.
because it's part of the respect that you pay to the place.
And
Then
then
when
I have really good like Argentinian coworkers and I love them. And then they're so into soccer because soccer is like
Oh
a,
yeah, yeah,
a big
everything that is
big thing.
competitive, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
everything that is
And
competitive over there.
right. So but they told me like Japan's kind of creating like a chant, kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
learned from Argentinian chant
Oh, they
during like,
are? I didn't know. I didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah. So they're like doing little chant like Argentinian supporters
Yeah.
do during the
It's
World Cup.
it's weird because the Japanese community in Argentina is huge. I have my best friend is Martin
Mhm.
Miyazaki. I see him every time I go back, and I talk like there's a huge community with the plantations of roses and plants, and
Mhm.
it's really cute. And the community was from Okinawa. No, yeah,
Mhm.
Okinawa, south of Japan. So it's really different. I know that it's really different internally how is
Right.
they're seeing, because it's beginning the islands, and then you get all the way to Korea. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you see now that that she is going for reform? She's a woman, but the reform is going back to old values, and in
Mhm.
part of that combo is to rebuild, kind of rebuild or reinforce the army and the navy, because things are not looking that peaceful lately. So isn't it,
Mhm.
it's it's not that what you may expect from uh the Japanese election after the homicide of the last candidate. Remember that too? It was weird, and the guy was did the most Japanese thing ever. Like, he stayed there and he surrounded himself. Like, it was like, yeah, it was me. You know.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
So
kind of weird. Yeah. What do you think about the U.S. political situation, with Trump and Biden? I know it's not gonna. Nobody knows where we're going, and that it's
yeah,
like,
I think we are going through some like unknown time too because both Biden and Trump are like running as a president in kind of like older age, and I think like that's concerning too, like health wise and also like judgment wise,
yeah,
because they're like a lot older than like previous presidents or any presidents in the world. Like they're like older side. Plus, like Trump is making like type of movements that you know Americans are not used to, or decisions that Americans are not expected to happen. And then I think a lot of people are kind of like confused because that leadership is running type of like politics that not everyone agrees to.
yeah.
And from me, like I'm like more like Japanese, like growing up, of course. So I feel like I cannot present like as part of America, like to speak up, like because I can't really say like what's the best for Americans, like for political terms, because there are so many people who voted for the presidents, right?
Oh
That's
yeah, the
why,
majority. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then like there are people who believe in Trump and there are people who don't believe in Trump. And then there's always like
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like
weird that
sensitive.
it it's weird that Japan and the US, they both elected like mandatories, like with
Mhm.
the idea of going back to traditional values, like,
Mhm.
because the woman in Japan is saying the same thing, the prime minister,
Mhm.
isn't it? She's trying
Mhm.
to recover some foundational values, blah blah blah, especially for the demographical situation, isn't it?
Right. The thing is though, there's a good old values that we can learn from history. And there's also another thing that we just learn but improve and not
Uh-huh.
to do it again, like the worst.
Yeah.
Um, and this, but to be honest with you though, like we are evolving.
Yeah.
Like our value is not the same as like 100 years ago. And to me, like making America great again is like America is already great. It's
Yeah.
not again, it's continuously being great and trying to be greater. And what can we do to make it even greater every day? You know, not to like go back to where it was, because we cannot go back to where it was and then praise, destroy what we've conquered
Yeah.
and we worked so hard. Like we can go back to like no phone, you know, no
Yeah.
iPhone. We can go back to landline. Those days are nice, but
You're
now we
right, isn't it?
know that,
You're right.
yeah,
Like the thing that had generated the change
yeah,
the most, like an iPhone is
yeah.
or a smartphone is gonna
Or
is
this, what we are doing right now, like because of this, like we can talk at the same time, living in like 3,000 miles away apart or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
And that didn't happen. And then this convenience, like people dreamed like years ago.
Yeah,
And then
but
they made it happen.
it's also like it used to be easy to be racist or uh to be segregated. It used to be easy.
Mhm.
Now it's kind
Right.
of impossible because you necessarily see somebody from another group all the time and you are related. Like he's younger
Yeah.
like you, he's your age, he's divorced, he's not divorced, her parents were divorced or
Mhm.
not, like they had a disconnection. You work on the same profession or whatever, like but it's if all the media they have created groups on that, and but at
Mhm.
the same time they have uh, deconstruct the old groups. I don't
Right.
know.
And then like the thing is though, like we are so kind of like traumatized from our own like history
Yeah.
and then kind of like trained that way, right? All of us, each country and each culture. And then like we are kind of like programmed somewhere by our education or anything that we have to find like enemy or something to blame on,
Oh,
you
a
know what I mean? Like,
scapegoat, a
yeah,
scapegoat, a
yeah.
scapegoat.
It's just like they are bad people, like they are not nice people, or like they are our enemies. But what I noticed is like, you know, like when I came to the US, I'm like, I love all food, for example, from different countries,
Yeah.
you know? And most of the time, like some people say, oh, this country is bad, for example, right? And then like, for example, I'm like US, like and Russia, a kind of like insensitive relationship type of thing always. But I've met so many amazing Russians.
Yeah. Okay, we were talking about Russians, you meeting good Russians, that
Yeah,
like
so the thing
the
is,
stereotypes are not working.
yeah, because sometimes like the countries are kind of like, like fighting or conflicting, but like it's not everyone, you know what I mean? Like, for example, like in history, like there are countries like, you didn't like each other and all that, but like now you come and then you meet like really great people from all over the place, and
Yeah.
and it's just a thing like certain people like or government may want you to think certain way, you know and then you experience different thing,
Yeah.
because to me like what's the beauty of it is like really like learn and understand each other because we are all different, you know
Yeah.
even like you're from Argentina, that doesn't mean you love every Argentinian people equally, you know what I mean? Some
Yeah.
people like you don't agree and you agree and all that, like it happens. So to me, like going back to the old value and making like, country to back in the day, like we just sometimes think like, we our past is better, you know,
Yeah.
but also our present is what people from the past dreamed of, you know,
Uh-huh. That's good.
and then we have to kind of like accept and proud of where we are at now, you know, because we are living in the dream of people who dreamed like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, you know, like even in America, like it has a lot of like, you know, sad histories too. Like
Yeah.
slavery was there, all that thing. People wanted to treat it equally, regardless of where you came from, you know,
Yeah.
and that happened like all over in the world, I'm sure, you know, when you are
Yeah,
the
or
only person.
it's like you
Yeah,
were saying, like I remember like Ronnie Chang, the guy from the Daily
yeah,
Show. He said that
mm-hmm.
he grew up he grew up with the country, the culture of the country, telling them like, remember what the Japanese did to us,
Yeah,
remember what the Japanese did to us. And when
yeah,
he went to Japan, he saw everything so nice, so
yeah,
cute, and so clean, and people being so polite, and he was like, man, what's going on? And it's like
yeah. Like
all this.
why do we have to carry the anger and, you know, from other people's and then other times? Like, yes, we should remember what happened so we can use it for the future, you know, because like you don't want to make same mistakes, but then
Yeah.
we learn and then we progress. I think Japan is a great country and a great nation and people that
Oh,
who did
when I
that.
went when I went there, I was the same thing that Ronnie Chang. It was how this is the city is huge, but it's
Mhm.
incredibly clean. Like it's
Right.
spotless. There's nothing on the floor. It's
And
amazing. Yeah,
yeah, and then
and,
people
and
don't like bump into you. Like there's so many
no,
people, but
yeah,
people just keep your space, leave you alone
yeah,
respectfully. And
yeah.
then when you go like shop in Japan, like they treat you like you know, king,
Oh,
right?
I saw the opening ceremony of the mall in
Mhm.
Japan and in Seoul. Sorry, in Tokyo and in Seoul, and they do the entire ceremony for opening
Right.
the mall. And I was like, yeah, it's great. This is the moment, isn't it? Like this for them, and remind me like when you practice martial arts, you do sasen at the beginning and at the end because you
Mhm.
want to respect the space
Right.
that you create in that moment.
Right, because it's like a sports. It's not too, you know, like even the fighting and all that, even roast battle in comedy. Like we are creating the entertainment, excitement for people. Not, you know, not doing that out of like hate, you know,
Yeah,
or out of like conquer. That doesn't mean like you're better. It's just you are presenting and delivering your art, you
yeah,
know, and it's not like you have to attack others and then, you know, beat
hmm,
them up. It's not like that. It's just like it's art, right? Like martial arts, that type of thing too.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not to like kill someone, you know, or injure someone. You know, it's you are just practicing safe way of fighting, and you know that probably varies in different type of martial arts. But what I'm trying to say is like for example, like I went through my parents divorce at early age, and both of my parents kind of like try to plant the seeds of hate for each one another. So my,
oh,
you know what I mean, my mother told me how bad my father was to her, and he did the same too. So that's kind of like the same as history, right? Like Ronnie Chan said, like, you know, remember what Japan did to, you know,
yeah,
China or that type of thing, right? And if we are really like planted the seed of hate, that is really painful, you know. It doesn't do good to your soul. Even if your parents didn't mean to hurt you, but just try to kind of like defend themselves or try to like, you know. But what I learned is like really like we have to live in the moment,
yeah,
but that doesn't mean like we have to forget about the past, but we learn from it. But we can't really go back, you know. We have to keep moving forward, you know.
yeah,
And it's okay, whatever happened, it's okay, because that's not something you can change. right? Like it's okay. That doesn't mean like, justifying, but it's okay to accept what happened, you know?
Yeah,
Like there's nothing you can do. It happened. It's a past. But if you're crying over spilled milk, you miss out the moment to pour another milk.
yeah, yeah. The new
So
cows.
yeah, so that's something that like we have to respect each other. And then to be honest, I think like we're really living in a great time because more people are aware of like love, respect, and I
Yeah,
think Japan did a great job on turning their country around of doing such a like, like going through war and everything, and then built the great country that kind of shows good manner and like respect to others as a country. Like, you know, I'm not saying like other countries are not like that, but like it's just because it's my where I'm from, so I'm talking about my country. But I think like even other countries too, like to me, like respecting each other of no matter what you are, because you could be like, for example, right, like someone that got like racially privileged, for example, like white male, right?
yeah,
But then some people suffer because like you could be, sexually discriminated, for example, you know,
yeah,
and then like everyone has something that it's just represents them that may not be accepted by other people, historically, but they are more like becoming themselves now, and then we respect each other as they are, you
yeah,
know
yeah. It's weird.
especially
Like we need to.
yeah,
Yeah, it's weird. Like the people assume that the life of the other people is better because he
right,
is white
right,
and
right,
male, and
right,
sometimes he
right,
grew up like white and male and rich, and
mm-hmm,
he's miserable because he
right,
has everything,
right,
and so he doesn't know how to handle. He doesn't know. He doesn't have
right,
objective. He doesn't. He's not hungry. He's not
right,
used to, you know,
right,
all that
because
stuff. Some people
yeah,
know, some people is doing
yeah,
great, you know, like
because we kind of like assume that like people are like that and people like that or that country is like that and all that, and then builds our own prejudice mind,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Just like Ronin Chan, right? It's like, but that might not be true. So I think it's nice that like a lot of the thing like progressive culture, especially like when I was in LA, like people say like be kind to one another.
yeah,
And I love like especially someone's writing. I forgot who exactly. Like you don't even know what people are going through, you
yeah,
know, in their mind. Even though you think like that person's life is perfect, but that person might have their own internal, battle that they're going through. So I think like, like accept each other and then be kind to each other, but be kind to yourself too. And that's something I really remind my audience like during my show. Just like be nice to you, because
yeah,
you're the best cheerleader you can get in your life, and you
yeah, because
can't
you're it, like
rely on,
that's it. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you can't rely on other people to be the best cheerleader if you are not cheering yourself,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good
you
way
know
to
what I
close
mean?
with empower comedy and empower therapy comedy.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
so
good one.
that's something that I tell people, like, just come to my show and feel that energy and the vibe, because that's something that I cannot really share across the screen. But like, if you are there, you feel it, you feel much love to yourself, feel love to others in the room, and then like connect through laughter. And that's probably the reason like running a show is very challenging and tough thing, but it's very rewarding when I feel people like look uplifted, happier than when they came in.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way to end.
Thank you.
Okay,
So hopefully when you come to Chicago, we can work together and then
I'm
have a
gonna
show.
take funny. We're gonna take funny accents there. We're gonna do it all together there with the rest of the guys with the funny accents in Chicago. Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay,
I'm looking
Fujiko, thank
forward
you
to
very
it.
much
Thank you so much
for
for
coming.
having me. All
Bye
right.
bye. Take care.
Bye.